So you were born in Louisville, Kentucky,
Louisville, Kentucky, yes.
but you grew up on a farm.
We had a farm. I grew up in the suburbs, but well, I was on the farm every day, so yeah, I grew up on a farm. Yeah.
And you know, you shoveled stuff and you worked with horses and
Shoveled poop, yes, yeah.
that's the important thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, when you first met with Deborah Granick for Winter's Bone, were you already like really, really, really driven to get that role? The
Yes.
role of
I had
Reed?
fallen in love with the script, and I would have done anything and everything to get it.
And what did you do to convince her that you were the right person?
I flew on a red eye from LA to New York to chase her and basically scare her into giving me the part.
So there were multiple auditions, right? More than one?
Yeah, I think 3.
So what did you have to do to convince her?
Well, after I flew there, we had a very, very long audition process, and we talked for a long time. I did probably, like 15 minutes of improv, I think. And then we just really just talked for a long time.
Now, when you think about the character that you play in the movie, I mean, the thing that we all respond to so much is her grit, her strength.
Absolutely.
Where do you think that comes from, and how rare is it to see that in movies, you know, for a young woman's role?
Incredibly rare. Enough to fight for it as much as I did. You don't. And I think it's rare to play people that you actually really admire. Because I've never really viewed my character as perfect. You know, a lot of people will make excuses for their characters because I feel like, oh, you have to like your character. But a lot of times, like, I don't, because people don't always like themselves. And I thought it would be very fun and an honor, really, to play somebody that I actually really, truly admire.
How did she turn out the way she did? Why was she like that? Why was she so tough and such a survivor?
She had to be. She grew up raising her 2 younger siblings. I think everything fell on her shoulders. And I think she learned from her father, and then when her father was gone, everything that she learned from him fell on top of her, and she had to teach 2 younger siblings while taking care of a mother and while, you know, physically becoming stronger, physically going out chopping wood in the dead of winter and walking everywhere. And
you had to do that too.
I did, yeah, and it does make you tougher. Gives you blisters, it makes you tougher, yeah.
Because you hadn't chopped wood before? Or...
No, I hadn't, really. I mean, not really.
And you could shoot?
I've shot guns, but I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm around a gun.
So did they give you some training?
My cousin just emptied out a .22 when I was in Kentucky. I just carried it around, and so I just got comfortable with it. I was still being stupid though on set, and like pointing at my stomach and like other people's heads. So I was an idiot with the gun until they called action.
And did you grow up with siblings?
I did. I have 2 older brothers.
But you were playing with younger kids here, and Deborah said that a lot of how it worked was that you were always busy doing things. You're either busy with the kids or the dog or the cooking, or, you know. How did that work for you?
Well, that was, to be honest, that was the easiest part. I grew up, my parents owned a children's camp, so I was always at the children's camp with the counselors. I was always with kids, and I was the babysitter or the nanny or the something, and that means cooking, and everybody loves dogs. So that was my favorite part, was the farm and all the dogs and the kids and everything. That was definitely my comfort zone, really.
What was your discomfort zone?
Cutting up with a squirrel.
There you go.
That was probably the most uncomfortable I've ever been.
And Deborah insisted on doing the real thing.
Yes, which she should have.
Yeah. It was yucky.
It was very yucky. That's a good word for it, yeah.
Did you have to do it more than once?
Uh-huh.
Like how many takes?
I don't know.
And it smelled and it was gross. You're not going to think about that
I bring the memory back for present and I put it back.
All right, and I'm sure everybody asks you about that too.
Yeah.
It's true. So you've moved on to a number of other parts, and I'm curious. I mean, obviously, you've been brought into the but you were getting parts before this. Mm-hmm. You were getting enough parts so that you didn't finish high school, right?
Yes, yeah.
Talk about that decision and how you feel about it and whether you would ever go back to school.
Never say never. The moment might come where I want to go back. I think you go to college to find something that you love doing and find a way to make money for it. And I've been fortunate enough to do that. I think some people belong behind desks. I think some people are happy there. I'm not one of them. And I think I would have died if I had stayed in school.
You didn't
And
like
there-
it.
I what?
You didn't like it.
I didn't like it at all. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, never say never. I could go back, and all my options are open. But I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and I can do it. You know, I've been very, very blessed, fortunate for that.
What was the story of your being in New York and a photographer finding you? What was that about?
It was that. I was in New York just for like the weekend, just for spring break, and somebody came up and took my picture, and then that picture got taken to agencies, and then we just went, and I did cold reads, and it just kind of happened.
And did you start taking acting classes at that point?
No, I've never really taken a lesson or anything like that.
Do you believe in not taking lessons?
No, I just didn't.
So for you, it's about being very natural and being real.
Yes,
and
for me,
and
but
finding an
there are
authentic
many people that are different. And
voice.
yeah, but for me, yes, that's true.
Well, it's working so far.
Fingers crossed.